everyone, and welcome back to the Sounds of Stadia podcast from Helix Cloud Games. You're joining myself, Chris, alongside the man of many pixels himself, for another terrific episode of the Stadia podcast, where we round up all the gaming and Stadia news for your listening or viewing pleasure, whether you're watching on youtube.com/Helix Cloud Games or up there in the digital cloud on your podcast preference of choice. We've got a great show for you this week, where we're going to be rounding up all the exciting stories, new game drops, more pro games, people leaving Stadia to go to Google. It's the same company. We'll dive into all that. We're also going to be looking at the Epic trial versus Apple once again. Games being stolen from Stadia by Sony. How dare they? I know, crazy. There's probably a good reason behind it. We'll round up all that, talk about all the gaming updates coming your way in this very show. But before we get into it all, don't forget to like the video if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, comment down below so you help us with that magical algorithm and help other Stadia fans like yourself find this content out there. Don't forget, we do a lot more than just one Stadia podcast a week, where myself, Richie and Tom round up all the news. We also have live streams, we have Let's Play series, we have first looks, and we have an exciting, vibrant community Discord. Write down all the details you need are in the description below on the video, so do check those out. Really does help the channel out. But before we dive into that, welcome Richie for another week of the podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How's your week been so far?
It's been a pretty good week. Got to play a bit of Life is Strange. It was my nephew's third birthday. Well, technically his third birthday today when you're listening to this, but I went to his birthday party Saturday, so that was fun.
Happy birthday.
I always like spending time with my nephews. It's always a good time.
It is always good. Family time's always important, to get away from the screen and just interact with other human beings, whether they're little tiny ones or big tall ones as well, like me. Before we do delve into the show...
You sounded a bit jealous there. It's like, have you been spending time with people other than me?
Other human beings, yes, other human beings. No, I've had a great weekend. Also, played some games, saw some people, went to see the new Shang-Chi movie with the missus, so that was fun. Enjoyed it quite a lot. It was nice. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than Black Widow. It's my preference.
I haven't seen either.
Oh, there you go. You've got some stuff to do. If you want to go, just give me a date, and I'm sure I'll tag along for another watch. But we're not here to talk about Marvel, although we do have an Avenger story. Actually, scratch that later.
So we are here to talk about Marvel.
We'll get to Shang-Chi and everything later on. But we do also have some good housekeeping news. We are on the verge of our second anniversary here at the Helix Cloud Games channel, and we are celebrating by giving back to our community on the 2nd of October, Saturday, in fact, the 2nd of October. We're going to be raising money for a very important cause for the Alzheimer Society. Over here in the UK, who do a lot of great work for sufferers of Alzheimer's and dementia. It's a horrible disease. It takes people's humanity essentially away from them, and I've witnessed it myself firsthand within my own family, with friends, and it's something that might affect us all one day as we naturally live longer. It's the human mind and the brain are a very delicate thing. So to help raise some funds and some money, we're going to be streaming our usual celebration stream on the 2nd of October. We'll be doing the podcast live, so we'd love to see you guys in the chat with any questions. We're going to go a little bit longer. We're going to make it a bit of a special episode. We're also going to be doing some giveaways. We've reached out to our partners and publishers in the gaming world. We've got a couple of exciting game codes. We've got some physical Google stuff to give away as well. It's going to be a great day of video games, chatter, all Stadia influenced, of course. We'd love you to reach out. And if you do want to donate, just head to justgiving.com/Helix Cloud Games. We've set up a page a little bit earlier so we can try and raise some kind of preliminary funds. And then come the day, we'll hope to stretch out and achieve an awesome target. And we know you guys, the Stadia community out there, are all amazing. So do your thing. Head over to there and drop some pennies or dollars or cents if you can. It's for a great cause, and like we said, Richie, could get us all one day, for all we know. It might be 20, 30, 40, 50, hopefully many years, but like I said, the brain is a delicate thing. So, switching things up, which actually, weirdly, we were playing Life is Strange this week. As part of our Let's Play series.
That wasn't weird, that was planned.
I mean, that particular Let's Play series is planned. If you've not seen it already, Life is Strange True Colours, out now on Stadia. We did a first look, and then we're also turned it into a bit of a Let's Play series as well. We've got 2 episodes up on the channel right now, where we dive into it. And funnily enough, off the back of the story about our charity, there's not that much spoilers, but charity actually came up within the stream for very good reasons. So go check that out. Richie, what are your first takes on Life is Strange so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I love 1 and Before the Storm. I haven't really played much of 2, but so far I'm getting into it. And it's one of them, like, in some ways I wish we weren't playing it on stream because then I could have just binged it. Yeah. But I'm saving it for content. I will be playing again on my own at some point. But outside of, like, True Colours, I have just, last night, I finished Life is Strange 1 again.
Oh, wow. So you did binge a version of Life is Strange?
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing like an episode a night, and I just did episode 4 and 5 last night. And I've started this morning. I started playing Before the Storm again, which is only 3 episodes long. So
you're getting through those as well.
Yeah,
yes.
Powering through.
Much like a good Netflix series, but I'm beholden like you to waiting for our next stream. So it'll be up later on this week. But what it does give is everyone a really good opportunity to check the game out for themselves. Because I know sometimes when we do these Let's Play series, if the game is brand new out, we found it with Resident Evil Village, people naturally want to go play it on their own. So go play it.
Especially if it's very story heavy, like Life is Strange.
Exactly. So go check it out, go catch up, and we'll have the next episode 3, ready for you this week as we delve into the deep, seedy world of Life is Strange and see what the story's about. There's something awry, Richie. We'll get to the bottom of it. We really will. Aside from that, games that we've been playing, I've dived back into Assassin's Creed Valhalla for the DLC. I've been wanting to get around to it for a while. I've got the Wrath of the Druids and the Siege of Paris in the pipeline, so I thought I've just finished Mass Effect 2. That's finished. Had a great time with that. I'm playing through Life is Strange True Colours with yourself. I've finished Ghost of Tsushima's DLC. Got all the stuff done there as well. Played through the story on New Game Plus. Beautiful, stunning game. Definitely probably my game of the... Well, can't even think. Oh, God of War is good as well, though. Anyway, I digress. That's a whole different topic to go off into. However, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying Life is Strange, and I'm waiting for like the next big thing to play. I know FIFA's getting quite close now.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that's about. But I'm just kind of waiting for that can to open on the winter season. But I guess we'll get into it.
I'm kind of the same. I'm trying to like clear off a few games out off my backlog, but then Life is Strange came out and made me want to play the other Life is Strange. It's just like, oh well, that's taking up time.
Certainly, it's going to get busy.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll all get there. So that's a little bit for housekeeping. Thank you very much, everyone. And with Tom not being here still, and with the news stories this week, our hashtag Tom's Challenge. I wanted to tie it somehow to the additional pro game we're going to talk about in just a moment. Of course, so I want you... It's all from Happy Gilmore. It's golf related. If anyone's seen the Adam Sandler movie Happy Gilmore, it's one of those movies that I watched growing up, and it was just like... It probably doesn't hold up that great, the comedy today, but I really enjoyed it. And because it's golf themed, we want to hashtag at Tom, of course, in his absence while he's on paternity leave. We want to keep him in the loop a little bit by pestering him every Monday with a special hashtag. So at AdaxisLP, and the hashtag is It's All in the Hips.
It's all in the hips.
It's all in the hips. Any Happy Gilmore fans will, of course, get the reference. There were a couple of other quotes I was going to use, but they're too long for a tweet, like you eat shit for breakfast. And then I thought, if we're getting people to tweet at Tom saying that, it might be a bit... He might not understand it.
I eat shit like you for breakfast.
Yeah.
You eat shit for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast. Goddamn alligator stole my hand. Like something like that. And that doesn't really make sense. So I thought, if it's all in the hips, gives Tom something to think about on a Monday morning. Hashtag, of course. And a special shout out to all of our members out there on the YouTube channel. Remember, if you do love the content we do here at Helix Cloud Games and you want us to invest and bring you better quality stuff, we have just, Richie, commissioned some more video art. So everyone, the viewers, can be excited to see that in the coming weeks as well. So we're reinvesting in the channel, and it's all down to our amazing members, all 50 plus of you out there across our YouTube channel. If you click join below, for as little as 99 pence, you can join the channel. You get special badges next to your name, access to super chats, and more importantly, you get our SideQuest episode up to 6 days early. So if you are a fan of our content, why wait almost an entire week to get it? You can get it up to 6 days early by just clicking join below. You support us a bit more, you help us give back, we do giveaways, we buy stuff off the back of it, and we reinvest in more tech to bring you better quality content. So thank you to our 50 plus members out there as part of the Helix Club. You're a member of the Helix Club, right, Richie?
I am, and as you. As
I
is
am.
Tom.
I mean, we kind of have to be.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit dishonest of us if we weren't. But we do have a busy show, as we said. So without further delay, Richie, if you could do me the honours.
Of what? Introducing
the
super sexy special Stadia story segment, aka the news.
The news. Yeah, I didn't
that
really
wasn't our best one.
Yeah, I didn't really give you the good intro. I just kind of was like,
yeah, you didn't give me the good lead in, but it's fine. We got through
it's
it.
fine. We got through it. Just like we'll get through the news, folks. Just like we'll get through the news. And first story of the week. We got some stealth drops, Richie. We got a little community blog on a Tuesday.
How surprising.
I know, how surprising. Some stealth drops, yeah. However, titles that one of them we anticipate was coming in the near future. One of them out of nowhere. So, Katamary Damacy Reroll is the first one. And if you're not familiar with this game, it's crazy. It's essentially, it's what we've all done as children, where you take a blob of Play-Doh and essentially roll it around and everything sticks into it. But it's been turned into a video game. So, to give you an insight, I'll give you the rundown of it. It's one of the most creative and unique and delightful video games of all time. Katamary Damacy Reroll, it is kind of like a remastered version of it, I guess. You start small and you build up as big as you roll up. Essentially, you start to take over an entire town and city. Barnyard animals, pedestrians, the whole city gets engulfed in this giant ball. It kind of... I'm trying to think what you would refer it to, Richie. It's almost like Super Monkey Ball meets... something. It's its own unique thing.
It's a very, very unique game. You're just going to have to watch the trailer, really, to kind of get an idea what this game's about. I think it's always in one of them, like, the list of craziest, weirdest, unique games that you should play sort of lists.
Yeah, it's Katamary's Japanese, I presume, for some kind of, like...
I believe so.
Ball of something. Giant ball. There's got to be a reason for it. But yeah, it's very trippy. There's a lot of stuff that reminds me of the old Queen album art covers. The main character in it, he looks like something straight off a Queen album. He also has like the Freddie Mercury-esque mustache. But yes, it came off with a great pro game price as well. It dropped out £5.27 or your respective currency as well. Great offer. And it's one of those, for that price, if you're looking for some whimsical fun, just jump in and play it. Do we know what it stands for, Richie?
Yeah, I've just Googled it, and Katamari means clump or clod, and Damashi is the Rendaku form of Tamashi, which means soul or spirit. So it's a clump of spirit. Clump
of spirit, and yes, you essentially just go around and absorb everything like a black hole. So check it out. If you've got kids out there, they'll no doubt love this one. It's bright, it's colourful, it's got a great beaty soundtrack as well, and... yeah, tells a very abstract story, so go check that one out if you haven't done so already. And the second stealth drop, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we got Darkwood. So we knew Darkwood was coming. I think it was rated a little while ago as well. In Darkwood, essentially, it's a top-down survival horror game without the jump scares, apparently, although it still seems quite creepy. You journey into a haunted world of unsettling horror and uncanny imagery, where your grip on reality becomes more tenuous with each passing moment. So essentially, it's kind of the top-down nature of it immediately reminds me of kind of Dead Nation or something, but it's got more story and puzzle elements to it.
And it's also not like a twin-stick shooter.
I mean, that is, yeah, it's just...
Well, it kind of is a bit, but... I mean, it's a survival horror game, so you're not going to have millions of bullets flying around the screen all the time.
True. But yeah, very, very interesting artistic choice on this one. Very different use of the horror trope. You don't really see horror come into this top-down view.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. It's an interesting approach because I think horror works better when you're more immersed. So it's usually horror tends to lean towards first person, maybe occasionally third person, but the top-down or isometric stuff. But they're clearly going for horror in terms of, we're not going to do jump scares, we're going to go a creepy atmosphere, which I think can be worse sometimes.
Yeah, it makes you very uneasy. And actually, the longer I'm watching the trailer, I'm getting more Hotline Miami vibes from it, just because of the top-down nature and the shooting.
Yeah, the tone of the game is very.
It's very much not the same, but interesting.
I see where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, interesting all the more. So yeah, 2 additional games added to our list of Stadia titles. So that takes us well beyond the 200 mark now. And once again, did drop at a very reasonable price, £11.99. So if anyone out there has got that little bit of a budget and they fancy something a bit different, both of these games offer that in spades. Just very, very different sides of the spectrum. One's cute and colourful, one's dark, seedy and gritty and spooky as well. Which of these two would take your fancy the most?
Personally, I'd lean towards Darkwood, but I think it's very much on the I'll try it when it comes to Pro. But I feel like it will eventually come to Pro. It's in a nice price point for a Pro game.
You are not wrong, sir. You are not wrong. We'll have to wait and see because, we're doing well on the Pro game right now, but we've been conditioned to hang fire. Next story of the week, though, speaking of Pro, Richie, thank you very much for that little segue there. We've got another Pro game added. It's just kind of like, at this moment, you wait a week and you get another Pro game. It's great for us in news stories because we get a new headline title every single time. This time, though, however, we are teeing off with PGA Tour 2K21 as it joins Pro. So, of course, this came with a new career mode, new Pro Tours and courses, as you would imagine from another iteration, some different variations, but all in all, it's golf still. That's hence the Happy Gilmore hashtag that we had at the beginning. This does make me beg the question then, if this is going Pro, or this has gone Pro, we should say, it's available to claim now if you haven't done so already. Where does this leave us in standing with a PGA 2K22? Because that must be out imminently, right?
I have no idea. I don't know what the golf season is. Is it more summer based?
I feel like this game has been out for quite some time.
I really don't know. I don't know enough about golf to kind of predict all golf games to know when they usually come out. But I know this has been out for a little while, so I think it puts us in good stead for a 22. I just wouldn't know when.
Would it make you feel any better if I said? Oh no, it says 20th of August 2021, which is past. So
is PGA Tour 2K22 out?
So this article's from July saying, is PGA Tour 2K22 coming this year? 2K Sports won't say, but the company's confident it's bringing it to the table.
Oh, yeah, I wonder if it's just been delayed then.
Where is the new? Because obviously this, what happened with EA are making a Tiger Woods game, right? If I'm not mistaken, because there was this whole thing of like, oh, Tiger Woods has jumped ship over to a different franchise, so you're going to get EA's Tiger Woods, I believe, and then you're still going to get PGA Tour. Was it EA Sports PGA Tour is the next one they've announced? Yeah, EA Sports PGA Tour.
I know in the past they have had like Tiger Woods like front the EA stuff.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like there's a 2K22 game just yet. Let us know in the comments below if you have any more insight. Again, myself and Richie are not great golf players, nor are we big golf. We play mini golf, essentially. That's our title we go to. But, however, another terrific thing, and it gives us a great opportunity to lead into one of our questions. So one of our members, Louise, actually writes in on our Discord, just like you can. Head over to the link in the description below. Join us on our Discord, and we have an entire channel dedicated to questions for this show. And Louise writes in and says, hi guys, does having a pro game by itself on the second week of the month mean less competition compared to having it with the other 5 games on day one? Is this because of the new Stadia deal with developers? And essentially, does this mean Stadia should take a more Epic Games approach and give us 1 or 2 games a week instead of the whole bunch in one go? He says for sure it would make him try more new and different games instead of just trying out a couple of pro games and then diving back into Immortals or whatever game you're currently playing. So I guess this question's kind of got 2 caveats from Louise. Thank you for writing in, of course, as well. It's an interesting one because, we get all the pro games on the first of the month, and I don't know about you, but I generally play the ones that take my fancy, and quite often the kind of final 2 that don't grab me instantly, I sometimes never get around to playing them. There's a lot of pro games I've not even touched because I go for the bigger entries. For
me, it's been a while since I've attempted to play every single pro game that's come, which I was doing in the early days of the podcast, but there was less on the platform. But yeah, I think he is hitting something, especially with the new revenue share aspects, which are going to be largely more based on playtime, on how much people play in a pro game. So you might, I think, if you come out a week on your own, I think more people are likely to jump in.
Yeah.
You might start seeing developers push to be getting on separate weeks for that reason.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with Pro because unlike PlayStation Plus and other platforms, is the games don't leave at the end of the month necessarily. Yeah. So yes, they may go live like 5-6 days into the month, but you can still claim. You can claim them. Yeah, you can beyond the end of September. Like some Pro games, I think Destiny and PUBG were on Pro for well beyond an entire year.
Yeah, well, we did a SideQuest on this where we used a stats package produced by our friend InLead. Where there's some games I think were over a year, and like many games were like over on the platform for over 6 months as pro before leaving. So it's
very interesting because in reality, if PGA was a pro game on the first of the month, how many people would have probably tried that out first, with it arguably being the biggest title of the month, and then another lesser indie game may have fell off the radar a little bit more. Whereas because the other games had almost like a week to breathe, and then PGA got dropped. It does create an interesting dynamic of who claims them and who's playing them at what times due to that release schedule.
Yeah, I don't know how much it will net out, however, over a long period of time. Yeah, I think it might be one of them things you see a bump on the week it comes out if you came out on your own, as opposed to being like one of 4 games. But ultimately, I think the quality of a game will eventually tell. If your game is more appealing, then it probably doesn't really matter when in the month it comes out. Especially if it's a pro game. I think it's different when you're talking like a paid game that you're paying directly for, because then you got to think about. I think people are more likely to buy a game at the start of the month because of just being paid.
Yeah, correct.
But if it's a pro game, probably doesn't matter. In the long run, just more about what is that initial spike.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, we'll probably never know behind the scenes, but like the way the payments work for the developers as well. Yeah. So if your game is out for the entirety of the 31 day cycle, and if you're coming out a week late to the party, is your bonus payment impacted by that in the new regulations they've said? But we'll probably never find out.
I think for a 2K21 golf game, I think it's not going to have much of a difference. But a smaller title that may be struggling to get eyes on the game, then we're coming out on your own, you might actually see a boost because then people like us will go, oh, and this week we've got another pro game, he's the game, and not mention it as amongst like 4 or 5 other games. Yeah,
that's very true.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons, I think, to both this. But only time will tell if we see this more regular, or for all we know, it just might mean, we know how sometimes Stadia can work, is the deal just wasn't signed off in time for the first of the month. Because, funnily enough, remember, the PGA Tour cover art was on the initial pro game post, and loads of people were commenting. I saw it on the community threads, I saw it on social media, of people saying, why is PGA Tour in there? It's not in the pro game list. And then fast forward a week, and it was a pro game. It was just added a week later. So it's kind of the left hand and the right hand not knowing sometimes when to say stuff. It might have been something that 2K have literally just had, no, we don't want to come out in the first week, we want to come out in the second week on the pro. Yeah, but we'll never know the reasons. It is interesting how when 2K seemingly are a bit quiet on Stadia, now we suddenly get them as a pro game. And I've seen people on social media take that as, have 2K left the platform behind? Is this a sign that they're coming back? And only time will really tell with this one, because the harsh reality is we also don't know about other sports titles from 2K that aren't coming. We also are still waiting on Mafia. Let's remember that as well from 2K. We're also don't have any news on Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is from them and Gearbox. So there's a couple of things that they make positive moves, like putting PGA Pro, but then at the same time they're all quiet on the front for other things.
I'd say there's 2 different conversations there, but there's probably 2 different teams handling of whether we bring a game to the platform and how well we support the game when it's on the platform. Yeah, I think they can be different. They are linked conversations, but I think they are different conversations. Yeah,
it's almost like a level of quality control with you saying about the games already on the platform. I know they've had problems with the NBA 2K games in the past not getting patched and stuff. But if you do want to chat about that a bit more in depth, Richie, last week's SideQuest episode, we actually went off the beaten path and we discussed quality control on Stadia in the wake that Ark Survival Evolved left. And that was a great conversation about, the importance of, as a consumer-facing business, there should be a certain level of quality that these developers and publishers are held accountable for from Google Stadia's side. It's not all about the devs. At the end of the day, the platform holder has some responsibility to their players out there and their customers, essentially.
We talked about quite a bit, actually. Who's responsible for making sure the qualities of the game is adequate? Yeah,
they to a degree they both are, but the buck has to stop somewhere. So that's an interesting one. But before we move on from this particular story, I do want to touch in with Mafia Definitive Edition Trilogy, Richie, as is custom here on the Helix Cloud Games channel. The main reason why is because we are genuinely getting close to the 1 year anniversary now. Remember, the Mafia Definitive Trilogy Edition, whatever it's called, from Hangar 13 and 2K respectively, it came out on other platforms on the 25th of September, Richie. And at the time of recording, we're on the 12th of September, and nearly and one entire year later. As it stands, it came out 352 days ago on PlayStation and Xbox. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I don't really think there's any more to comment on that.
There isn't.
We've talked to death about Mafia. We're just going to keep bringing it up till it comes on the platform.
I mean, will it make the 1 year cut-off point? But that's a whole other conversation.
I think it's going to be, after a year, it's going to go pro, and there's probably going to be like a weird exclusivity deal or something that we'll never hear about.
Yeah, and then this just feeds into the whole 2K argument again of, like, do they care? Is something like... But again, put all the pin on it. I know I say it every week. Sorry for those who are fed up with me talking about it. Some of you out there are probably like glad that I'm championing this. I do it on Twitter every now and again as well. I'm probably actually overdue a tweet to Hangar 13 and 2K just to say, like, can you tell us something? And maybe I'll do it on the anniversary when we do hit the 1 year mark. Because again, this was announced and they've been radio silent for over an entire year. Past the date it's dropped on other platforms. I, like a lot of people, thought we were going to get it on the 25th of September 2020. It's nearly the same date, 2021, and we've not heard a sausage from any of them. Not a tweet, not a thing from the support. I actually emailed them. I didn't mention this on a previous podcast. I emailed their support team to see if they had any further update. We can't tell you anything at this time. Keep it locked to our social feeds for updates on the game's release. That doesn't help me at all. Thanks, consumer support. But anyway... We digress. Don't want to get too worked up for the next story. Because the next story has also seen some movement on social media. Jack Buser, Jackie B, as he's came to be known here on our channel, has moved over. Yeah, I've called him Jackie B a few times. Of course, he's one of the people as part of the Stadia team. Jack Buser did go out and give interviews early doors, just like John Justice. He was one of those people I've seen do a couple of things, do the rounds on YouTube channels and such. He was previously... I guess still is for one more day. He doesn't start his new job until tomorrow as the director for games at Stadia. So quite an important role. Don't really know what he did there. Something to do with games. I'm guessing it was like acquisitions maybe. Some important job. He has moved to another team within Google, and he's actually, weirdly enough, moved to Google Cloud as the director of global gaming solutions. Now, I've seen plenty of articles, of course. The Kotaku's out there and some other websites immediately go on to do you know the closed Stadia Games and Entertainment in February? Over 7 months ago.
Yeah, the Kotaku one is very formulaic. It's like, here's one or two paragraphs about Jack Buser. He's just the same paragraphs we put in every Stadia article, rewritten.
Yeah, so we're not going to go into that because Kotaku, just, take it or leave it. But in terms of the role, for us to discuss here, Richie, we've obviously followed Jack Buser's work over the last 2 years nearly. We followed Stadia, we know about the movements. But at the same time, I did tweet out about this. So this is Jack Buser of Google Stadia moving into a position at Google Cloud as head of gaming solutions. And a lot of people out there, for better or for worse, have taken this as a negative thing. And I know Kotaku and other websites have done so as well. And I tweeted out about this because... I'm under the impression this is the same as a sports star, like an athlete, who's been great for the team, they've done their role and they're maybe getting closer to retirement or something, and then they retire and they move into a role as like the coach or the manager. So they're still at the same team, they're just doing the graft for a different department at the team. And he's, in my opinion, Jack's essentially moved up from in charge of Stadia Games to in charge of gaming solutions at Google Cloud, which umbrellas all of Stadia and the Google Play Store and their online, like all of their online infrastructure components. And yet, there's a lot of people who see this as a bad thing, but I don't.
I don't see it as a bad thing or a good thing. We don't know the reasons behind this move. This might just be a slight restructure in how they're going to do things. This actually might move Stadia slightly closer to Google. This could be a very good thing for the platform with having part of the Stadia team now on the other side of the conversation at Google. Mm-hmm. It might strengthen that relationship a bit more. So we don't know. Jack Busey, I think he's largely responsible for helping building relationships with publishers and developers and stuff. I think that was kind of the area he oversaw. So the games that come to Google Stadia, he was kind of responsible for laying the groundwork. Maybe not actually the one cutting the individual deals, but making sure like there's a positive relationship there.
Yeah, so to highlight Jack's role a little bit more, his new role he's stepping into when this podcast goes live on September the 13th is as Google Cloud's Director of Global Gaming Solutions. Busey will report to Vice President of Industry Solutions, Laurie Mitchell-Keller. His first day on the job is Monday the 13th. His new role sheds light on the evolution of Google's gaming strategy as it puts more focus on serving as a platform for third-party game publishers and developers. It also cements gaming as a crucial category for Google Cloud, putting it on par with a handful of other key verticals like healthcare, retail, and manufacturing. And then I quote from the article, Google Cloud sees incredible momentum across all industries, and gaming is one of the key verticals we are investing in, said a Google Cloud spokeswoman. This is just all highlighting how important gaming in Stadia is to Google.
This might have been Google looking at it, you know what, we need a games guy in this team. Who's the best person for us? We'll bring, Jack Busey. We'll bring him. Yeah, he'll leave Stadia, he'll come to Google. But it strengthens Google as a whole in the influence in the gaming industry. Mm-hmm. And you never know. In a couple of weeks' time, we might hear about someone else inside Stadia being promoted to Jack Busey's old job. Yeah,
certainly does.
Unless this is different to like a John Justice who just left to go. Did he go to Amazon, John Justice?
No, that would have been a bigger story if he went to Amazon. No,
I can't remember who he went to, but he left Google entirely. Mm-hmm. This feels like it was just more of an internal move. Like, and corporations do this.
Yeah,
quite common. It's like it happens. Like,
and we've said it before that like people are just human beings. They have jobs. Like Jack might have just wanted to try something different, and this opportunity could have came up, and he went for it. Like at my place of work, if a position comes up, I look at it. I look at the job role, the description, the pay packet, my life choices, and think like, is that something I would want to do? And maybe he just sees himself better utilised, or he wants to progress. At the end of the day, he's a human with a job and a family and a career, and he can do what he wants. It doesn't mean it's the downfall of an entire Google gaming division just because one person leaves into another role. Like that's business. People move on.
Yeah, I mean, this could even be maybe his role at Google Stadia.
Understand.
You can't answer this question. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're not expecting you to answer this question, Google. But maybe it's a case of his role at Google Stadia was diminishing over time. Like he was just becoming. Maybe it was really, really, really important in year one, but by the time year two's come around, it's not as important because relationships have already been established, and there's other people in the team who's doing more and more of the legwork.
Yeah,
and then maybe we need a games guy in his new team. It might have just literally this is a natural progression for him rather than anything nefarious. Not every move has to be like completely twisted.
Everything's
my God, Stadia's gonna die. It's like
and we should stress as well in the article. It does go a little bit deeper and stuff, saying Google's interest in gaming should come as no surprise. The industry is sizable and growing, generated $175.8 billion via consumer spending in 2021. Obviously, the pandemic escalated that, but in terms of revenue generated, it's the biggest media division on the planet. Why would Google suddenly back out? Even if Stadia is not performing as well as they want, the market share is expected to exceed $200 billion by 2023. So amid all this backdrop, Jackie B is now going to help Google Cloud develop broader relationships with game publishers, broader relationships with developers, and essentially take his skill set that he's learned exclusively with Stadia and apply it to the wider gaming division at Google Cloud, which powers Google Stadia.
Yeah.
So yes, if Jack can make these connections with wider publishers and say, look, we've got the Google Play platform, we've got the Stadia platform, we've got the Chrome browser, we've got all of these different avenues, how can we utilize these relationships? It seems like a really strong move. That's only gonna. It's almost like we've now sent. He's now gone off, and now Stadia have a man on the upper tier of the ladder. Almost,
that
to
was
help influence decisions.
My interpretation: Stadia now have a gaming guy in the Google side of the conversations. But the thing for me is, it's entirely possible what Kotaku's take, where it's like, oh my god, it's all doom and gloom for Stadia. Mm-hmm. It's entirely possible that is correct. But Kotaku put that view out, and any time they write anything about Stadia, and it always brings up Stadia games and entertainment. And if they didn't do stuff like that, I'd probably pay more attention to what they're saying.
Yeah,
the actual bit that's relevant to the conversation, and not the other crap we've talked to death.
Yeah, and just to end this segment with the end of the article and the quote from Jack's new boss, which says, Jack's hire illustrates Google Cloud's continued investment, remember, in our global customer-first gaming strategy, and his 5 years at Google will help open the door for broader strategic partnerships with customers across YouTube, Stadia, and more. Jack brings 20 years of experience with the industry, as well as unique blend of business and technical knowledge to further expand our ability to serve gaming customers. End quote.
Yeah, that's me. I'm pretty much sold. Google wanted a gaming guy, so they brought Jack Buser.
Yeah.
Yeah, they maybe pinched him from Stadia, but that could be, that can open the progression for someone else at Stadia.
Yeah, certainly can.
Not everyone knew Jack Buser's name when he first started from the industry. The next guy who takes Jack Buser's job,
exactly,
we might not know her name yet, but in 5 years' time, might go, oh my god, she's doing an amazing job.
Then they might not have had that opportunity if somebody didn't move on. That's how again business works. I do think a lot of this kind of does echo, to put a finer point on it, the frustrations that we haven't heard anything for so long. All we've seen is people leave. Obviously, Shannon Studstill and everyone left, and they've all started their own studios in line with PlayStation and whoever. But it's just because that echoing silence that just keeps going on, that people leave and we don't hear about who replaces them, and we've not had any connects, we've not had any events. We just get the blog post and that's it. We've had the whole summer of gaming. E3's gone, Summer Games Fest's gone, and we've just, aside from a couple of trailers that drop, we don't have that much actual communication with who's running the ship, who's steering the ship, because we've not seen Phil Harrison in. I mean, we're going to talk about it in possibly a SideQuest, but he's not tweeted out since 2020. This is the head of Stadia, and he's not said a peep, not even to promote his own brand.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I think the game 10 years ago, the game industry kind of is how Stadia seems to be running things, where people, you don't know who's involved, you don't really know the names of the faces unless you're actually part of the industry. But over time, it's moved to more like the consumer, the gamers, actually getting more like involved with knowing who's. It's that idea of like the face of the brand sort of thing. It's come through a bit more, and people pay a bit more attention who they are as people as well, more than they used to do. And I think Google is almost still a bit old-fashioned in its way. Like they still seem to run it as just, this is we're a tech company, where gaming and tech, there's a lot of overlap, but the way the consumer views gaming and tech is very different. As someone who likes both of them, I don't really know who the head of the team that makes my Google Wi-Fi is. It's an awesome product. I bought it.
Yeah,
but I'm much more like passionate about learning about who's making my games. Yeah.
It is like, if I think of like, we're both big PlayStation fans, and if I said Corey Barlog, Shuhei Yoshida, Herman Hulst, even Jack Ryan, I know who all of those people are because I, like you said, I'm more tuned in. I watch, I listen. I know the people who make my games. It's just, it's an interesting place, and I just find that the silence is going on for so long, and it kind of brings us on to the next story, actually, Richie, which is kind of just to back end the Jack Buser story. The Sony Showcase was last week. They showed off an absolute plethora of amazing titles, which I cannot wait to get my hands on. We went through them, but it was like the Uncharted remasters, Forspoken, God of War, Spider-Man 2, a freaking Wolverine game.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. Apart from the games I just kind of like, I'm not particularly interested, like the Grand Theft Auto 5 and the GTA 5s, which I'm just not that interested in them. Uncharted was the game I was least excited for.
Which is saying a lot.
That is saying a lot, because I love the Uncharted. And the main reason is because I've played them all apart from...
you haven't played Lost Legacy?
I haven't played Lost Legacy. I haven't played like the PSP or Vita ones.
Golden Abyss. Shout out to Golden Abyss. That should have been in this collection. But
yeah. If that was in this collection, I would have been more excited for this. But I can play through Uncharted 1 and be quite happy with how it performs. It's a PS3 game. It's an old PS3 game. It's not even like end of the PS3.
That's over a decade old now, yeah.
Yeah. So, remaster these games are awesome for people who haven't played them, but I have. But that Wolverine game's like, yes. More Marvel Spider-Man. Yep. So,
in amongst all that showcase of those amazing games, which again, it shows a roadmap of what I'm excited to play right through till 2023. Next year, I'm playing Horizon. Next year, I'm playing God of War. The year after, I'm playing Spider-Man 2. Potentially even a Wolverine game at the back of it. Interstitial with all these little titles. And in amongst all those games, Richie, was a game we've seen before. You may remember it. There was a little indie title called Tchia, and you may recall it because it got a Stadia trailer on the official Stadia YouTube channel some months ago now. We covered it on this very podcast. It's a little Zelda / Windbound inspired game. You kind of ride on your little boat. You can not zoom in, you can essentially take the form of animals and fly around a beautifully rendered art style island. Don't really know what the kind of crux of the story or the gameplay is yet. However, it was December last year. We saw the trailer. Loads of people were thrilled by it. And then in this PlayStation showcase, it came out. And since then, the video has been pulled from the Stadia YouTube channel. And over on Twitter, somebody actually did reach out to their Twitter account because they posted an announcement saying, we're really proud and happy to announce that Tchia will launch exclusively on PS4 and 5 and the Epic Games Store in 2022. We're still working hard on the game, but we'll share a lot more going forward. But in the meantime, here's a new trailer. To which Waponox over on Twitter asked them on PlayStation Epic what happened to the Stadia release, and rightly so, sent them a screenshot of the Stadia, where they cross off the top right corner of the image and they show the Stadia logo. And then they replied saying, unfortunately, our partnership with Stadia didn't work out. We had to adapt quickly, and Tchia found a home on PlayStation and an Epic Games Store. This enables us to keep working on the game and make it the best it can be. And like I said, to top it off, their website doesn't have any mention of it again. The video was pulled from the Stadia YouTube page. And kind of just like that, the internet did its thing, of course. And nobody's happy about this. Now, this kind of rewind back to the very start of the conversation, Richie. Roadmap. I've just said that I've rattled off 6 or 7 games I'm 100% paying my hard-earned cash to play on PlayStation for the next 2 or so years. Yeah. And then in amongst all that, they now have a title that I was probably going to play on Stadia and now isn't coming to Stadia full stop. Even though it was already announced, it has a trailer on the website, and there's no response from the Stadia team to say why this happened. And not that they have to, but again, silence is deafening when now it's an exclusive on PlayStation. It just kind of undermines a lot of stuff. Now, I don't want to take it as such down a negative route, because at the end of the day, this is an indie company, and evidently, if PlayStation offered them more money and they wanted to make it exclusive, we're getting an exclusive Wolverine game. Money talks. It sucks to be an Xbox player when you can't play Spider-Man and Wolverine. But the answer to that is get a PlayStation. That's the easy answer, and that's how this all works. So if you want to play Tchia, play it on a PlayStation. That's not Sony's fault. That's not the developer's fault. That's the people who are funding the game's fault.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Our relationship didn't work out. I'd love to know what they mean by that.
I just think
maybe
more
it's
money.
just a case of, it might just be more money. Maybe they needed more time for development or more money to continue development. Google weren't willing to pay more. And then maybe Sony bought out the contract or something.
Yeah.
It's really it's hard. It could be a million. It could be a million things. But either way, I don't think there's any way you can really put a positive spin on this one. This is a loss for Stadia. They've literally lost an exclusive game.
Yeah, I don't think it was going to be exclusive to Stadia.
Well,
but
they've lost the game.
They've lost the game.
Exclusive to another platform.
It looks worse than it is because it's now exclusive elsewhere. It almost looks like someone's just jumped in and went yoink, and the game is now exclusive elsewhere. The thing for me with it, and again, I'd love, like, from the developer's standpoint, you've got to remember, because I've seen some people on Twitter not be too friendly towards them. This is a small company who've now been clearly given an opportunity to put their game not only on a PlayStation showcase, which millions of people have watched by now, whereas on the YouTube Stadia channel, let's be honest, it probably had like a couple thousand views at best. It's now going to be on a platform that's got over 120 million PlayStation 4s in the wild and probably 10 plus million PlayStation 5s. So as a small developer of an indie title, just think of the reach that they now have for making this exclusive deal. And Epic Game Store as well, remember, so they've got that front covered. I do not begrudge the developers for making this decision at all.
No.
You've got to do what's best for you.
If anyone's been like arsy with the devs, just the people, like they want to make the best decision for their. In the end of the day, making games is an art form. I'm sure they want what's best for their game to make the best game they possibly can.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they'll be making the decisions to make sure they can do that.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, in this case, it meant for whatever the reasons behind the scenes that we'll probably never ever find out about. It meant that they've left Stadia and went exclusive with Sony.
Yeah,
and if I had to guess, you're probably right. It probably is money. Sony probably were happy to pay them a lot more money. And that might have even just been a case of, we'll give you a lot more money, and that could have secured the future of the development studio.
Yeah, and there might be a deal in there that says, if the game performs well, a potential sequel wants to be ordered as well. And clearly, the reality is, it's that chicken and the egg scenario. Stadia can't offer that right now. They can't offer the guaranteed player base. They can't offer the guaranteed, like, no matter how good the pro percentage revenue stream is, 120 million PlayStation 4s as opposed to whatever Stadia's player base is. Like, you can't turn that down. Like, any game, any developer, publisher cannot turn that down, the numbers down. Look how well the Nintendo Switch is doing. They had the same problem with the Wii U, where games weren't being made for it. Third-party titles weren't being made for it. You didn't see Call of Duty on the Wii U because there wasn't the player base for Activision to waste the time. Or that aside, also the graphic fidelity and the power under the hood to make it happen. But look at the Switch. It's getting all these different ports and like Witcher 3 and stuff is on Switch.
Yeah, because it's now the Switch has got the player base that developers are willing to put the time and the effort in to get their game working.
Yeah, there's like 70 million Switches out there in the wild now, right? So even if you port your little indie game over, like it's going to sell units because of the sheer volume of consumers that own the product. Yeah. So it is a chicken and egg scenario, and it is a shame. Personally, game looked all right to me. I would have arguably probably said it would have been a pro game at some point. So I don't think it's a massive loss. It's not like we've lost a AAA stellar title exclusive that was coming. We've lost a little indie game where it looks like a lot of other games.
If I had to guess, I think this might come to PlayStation Plus at some point.
Yeah. I'd argue just say it just looks like...
It might even be on release. I could see this being a PlayStation Plus game on release.
Yeah. And if you feel like you're missing out, just go play Windbound. Windbound's great and doesn't look that much different. So, yeah. But following on to the next story, as much as that one is obviously a bit shit, we will move on to another one, Richie, which I always throw over to you because you're a big Football Manager player. Football Manager 22, not confirmed for Stadia, not even confirmed for PlayStation, believe it or not, at this point. However, it is coming to Xbox, and it's also coming to Xbox Game Pass day one, day and date. So... Yeah. Just to keep this train going of things that are a bit crap, Xbox Football Manager 22, and I this came to my mind because I know we promoted Stadia having 200 plus games. Do you count Football Manager 19? Is it 19 was the version we got, right? Or was it 20?
I think it was 20.
20. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 22 is coming out. Yeah, Football Manager 20. It was on Stadia, and of course they pulled it for license renewal reasons, whatever that looks like.
Yeah,
and it never came.
They did that on Steam.
They did, yeah, but obviously Steam then got the following version. So
yes,
do we count Football Manager 20 as a Stadia game, as one of those 200 titles? Because it's literally no longer available on the platform.
I wouldn't, because it's not available.
You still have it, right? Or did you
still
never
have
buy
it.
You still have it, so it's in your library. Yeah,
it's in my library, but
no one else can buy it.
I wouldn't count it because other people can purchase it.
Yeah,
as it stands.
It's so weird that we just don't have it. But now it's coming to Xbox. It's just that argument again about games that their annualized versions aren't coming, and now the fact that it's coming to Xbox and xCloud, I should point out as well. So if you want to play this game on your phone with touch controls, like we've said, what was one of the best things about Football Manager, here it is on another platform, and yet we don't hear a peep. We don't hear a peep, and yet it's just another. I feel like it's just another missed opportunity once again.
I think what's happened is football. If I had to guess, Football Manager 2020 didn't sell as well on Stadia as I hoped, and Stadia hasn't become the platform that anyone was hoping it would be on its initial launch. Yet I feel it'll get there eventually, and then the guys at Football Interactive probably got approached by Xbox for 2021 because 2021 did come to Xbox as well. And I think they found a new home in the cloud over on the Microsoft side rather than the Google side. Yeah,
it's so weird. But then this is how stuff boils down. So within the article, we should point out, I did mention it's not coming to PlayStation. They did ask the Miles Jacobson, about a PlayStation version, and he said, "We saw Football Manager return to the Xbox for the first time, but skip PlayStation. Our friends at Xbox have spent years asking us to come back to their consoles. It has now in both the form of Football Manager 19 and 20, and then ended up on Game Pass." And then he explained further that basically they did not receive a PlayStation 5 dev kit, whereas Microsoft sent them one, and that was the reason.
There you go. That's a pretty good reason.
It's so crazy
that Sony saying we're not interested. Basically,
it's so weird to think
because Sony go, yes, I'll send you a dev kit. It's like, even if you're not that interested, it could be like. You never know. It might sell better than you expect. There's a lot of PlayStations out in the wild.
It's a well-known game as well, but it's just again we lambast Stadia sometimes for like all these decision processes and indie developers jumping ship and going elsewhere. The reality is a lot of it comes down to some really simple daft stuff that happens in business, and there is a game not coming to those 120 million PlayStation consoles out there because they were not sent a dev kit. That's it. There's no other big, massive conspiracy reasons. It's as simple as they didn't have the tools to make the game, therefore they didn't make the game, and Xbox did. And now it's coming day one to Game Pass, which makes Game Pass look even better.
That's weird, because then it's technically not a contractual exclusivity. It's just they couldn't make it somewhere else.
Yeah.
They couldn't make it for Sony.
It just shows you how crazy this industry can be sometimes. With all the millions and stuff, it can just boil down to they didn't have the tools to make it.
Yeah.
So... We digress. We laugh. Right, let's switch it up a little bit, Richard. Let's get into some good, positive news. New game coming on Stadia this October. Day and date. I know you're looking forward to this one, Richie. My Friend Peppa Pig.
I wonder where you were going with that, to be honest.
I know. Your friend Peppa Pig. The global, of course, hit cartoon show, which I'm sure many of our viewers out there have got children out there. Are big fans of Peppa Pig, whether you love it or hate it. It's probably on the television in the background the whole time, and Stadia fans will not need to wait much longer. It's set to launch October 22nd. Of course, it's from our friends over at Outright Games, who've done an amazing job at getting loads of PG-rated games on the platform. This last 2 months, we saw Ice Age and the dinosaur game, and Ryan's Races and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, plays your own customizable character, Richie, in an exciting new single-player adventure alongside Peppa Pig herself. While you join in the multiple fun-filled activities, create your one-of-a-kind exploring story adventure in Peppa's world. I know it's not really up your street. I was joking. But you do have nephews, so there may be some cross-pollination some point at a birthday party in the future.
I don't know if they watch Peppa Pig or not, but
I feel like every kid does at some point, right?
they've probably seen it.
It's like us and Teletubbies.
I don't think I watched that much Teletubbies.
You did. You just can't remember.
I think my sister watched more.
Scared you to death. Scared you to death.
Anyway.
Anyway. So yes, Peppa Pig coming to the platform. All you parents out there, look forward to it coming in the imminent weeks to come. Moving things along to a little bit more of a higher rated game in terms of age rating. Far Cry 6 is due out not too long away now, 7th of October, so you're talking just under 1 month. It's coming, of course, to Stadia day and date, and you can pick it up as part of Ubisoft Plus. And Ubisoft came out this week and confirmed it will, of course, be having some Season Pass content and some post-launch drops too. And they've given us a bit more detail. So they're bringing us crossover missions featuring people you probably wouldn't expect, Richie. Rambo.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo of Machete fame, Stranger Things, and more. So this is Far Cry 6 taking place on a fictional Cuban-inspired island with dictatorships and Giancarlo Esposito as a villain. And the DLC is bringing us Rambo, not Sylvester Stallone's Rambo, I just want to point out as well. It looks like it's like a different take on it. Danny Trejo, I don't even know who. He's probably just going to play himself, to be fair, which he does in a lot of movies. Just a badass guy. And then Stranger Things tie-in called The Vanishing.
I really don't know what to expect from this, to be honest.
I don't really. I know Far Cry likes to mix it up a bit when it comes to the season content, and it has done. It did do for 5 as well. But yeah, in and amongst all this, they've also said we're going to get episodic, as part of the season pass, you're going to get episodes featuring the villains of past games. So you're going to get Vass from Far Cry 3, Pagan Min from Far Cry 4, and Joseph Seed from Far Cry 5, across 3 roguelite-inspired episodes. So players will embody a different villain struggling to escape the horrors of their own minds in a brand new die and retry experience. Starting with nothing more than a pistol to defend yourself, players will need to find new weapons and unlock power-ups to become stronger and progress deeper into the depths of the villain's psyche. All 3 episodes will be given release windows as part of Ubisoft's post-launch roadmap. Episode 1 drops in November, with episodes 2 and 3 with Pagan and Joseph Seed coming January and March next year. And then they've also clarified as well, alongside the villain episodes, Season Pass owners get a copy of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which is cool, because I love Blood Dragon, and a special Blood Dragon set to go with your character in Far Cry 6. So just like most Ubisoft stuff, Richie, loads of future support.
Well, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, there seems to be a lot of value in the Season Pass. Like Blood Dragon, 3 specific episodes, plus the actual DLC that you'll get. But I'm someone, though, who I struggle to get interest. I rarely actually play that much DLC. So, especially on a game, I kind of find it hard to get that interested in DLC come for a game that I haven't even played, that isn't even out. I feel like I wanted some time with the actual game before I start thinking about additional content for it.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're doing some interesting stuff here. So if you are someone who plays a lot of DLC, seems like you've got a good option here.
Yeah, the game will keep you going for quite some time, and I just don't know what to make of it. Like, I've pre-ordered Far Cry 6. I'm looking forward to it. It's, like I said, it's not too far away now. I don't know what to make. The Rambo, Stranger Things, and Danny Trejo stuff, by the way, is free. So if you have even just the base entry level, this is part of similar to Assassin's Creed, it's part of the free content drops. Yeah. It's the episodic stuff with the villains that is paid for. But I just love the fact that it's a single-player game predominantly, and Ubisoft just keeps supporting these titles with like more post-launch content well into the year beyond their actual release. And because Far Cry 5 had the arcade mode, and it had the different thing with aliens, and they had a zombie version, and they told like little unique stories. Don't know why Rambo's not Sylvester Stallone. It's a little bit weird seeing his face not actually being him. I'm guessing the Stranger Things stuff is going to tie in with the next season of Stranger Things on Netflix. That would make sense to release it while Stranger Things is big.
It's a weird partnership though. But
Hey, I'm down for killing demigorgons in Far Cry 6 with all the crazy weapons that it brings to the table. It's probably going to be the best Stranger Things game out there. Sorry, Dead by Daylight, but Far Cry is more fun and the gunplay and movement is way, way better. But that's just my take. Sorry, Dom, if you're watching. But yeah, Far Cry 6 news coming soon. Keep it tuned to watch for that. And on the other flip side, we've got another game that was announced as part of the PlayStation Showcase. Won't spend too long talking about this one, but there might be a chance it comes to Stadia, and that, of course, is the Alan Wake Remaster. Originally came out on Xbox 360. It's never been on a PlayStation platform before, but it's getting a remaster, and the reason I bring it up is because, of course, Remedy have just recently released Control on Google Stadia. And wherever there's a tangible connection, Richie, we will talk about it, of course. However, the difference with this game is it's being published by Epic. It's not being published by 505 Games, which are the people who put Control on the platform. So I just want to get a quick take on, have you played Alan Wake before? How interested are you in playing it? And do you think it'll come to Stadia?
I haven't played it before. I actually don't think it'll come to Stadia. And I don't know, it's not really on my radar at the moment, to be honest. I remember watching it, it's like, okay, I've heard good things about it, but I've never been drawn to actually play it. But if it came to Stadia, that's the thing, if it was announced for Stadia, I think I'd be getting more interested. But with all the other things coming to PlayStation, it kind of falls in amongst the mix, to be honest. Yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm excited. If it was coming to Stadia, it'd stand out a bit more for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Alan Wake's one of those, it was never on my radar. I kind of knew it. I knew it was a well-revered game, but with it being on Xbox and having a PlayStation, it never kind of really trickled across to me. And then I really enjoyed what I saw of Quantum Break, which was the next Remedy game, which was their exclusive Xbox one with Iceman from X-Men. He wasn't actually Iceman in it, he just the actor. That looked great. The gameplay was just right up my street. It's that third-person action adventure game with a story. Like that is my number one go-to type of game. And then obviously we finally got Control, and I absolutely love Control. And now that's on Stadia. It's just probably one of those other titles where it's remastered, so I would get a chance to jump in. It actually comes out next month, I believe, in October. It's not too far away. It was a very quick turnaround time. It was leaked on a game store, like storefront, just before the showcase. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to come to Stadia because it's not 505 publishing the title. However, again, I just think it's another missed opportunity. Like another game that's arguably from it's a back catalogue game that people will have heard of. Just like we'd love the Arkham trilogy on Stadia, just like we'd love the BioShock trilogy on Stadia, and I just think it's an opportunity to get in on the conversation and have a title whilst it's new to the public, and it's not, and it kind of keeps echoing back to what am I going to be playing on this platform for the last few months of this year, and other than FIFA, I don't think there's any. I've pre-ordered it on PS5.
All right.
Because I'll keep mentioning it with it might be off camera, the 20% discount I can get with the Ubi points.
Oh yeah, you have mentioned that, yes.
So I can either buy it on Stadia for £82, or I can go on the Ubisoft store, use the Ubisoft points, get 20% off, and get it on my PS5 for £64, give or take. I can't remember what the maths is. So I've got the gold edition on PS4 with all the season pass included for £64. Then I have a PS5 in there, so I would prefer it on Stadia, but until I can get that discount, I'm going to save myself the money. And again, I might play like cross save eventually when it inevitably comes out as a discounted price. And I'm thinking, you know what, I'll jump back into Far Cry. I've got Far Cry 5 on Stadia, but
especially
again,
if your job starts taking you on the road a bit more.
100% exactly. Yeah, back and forth. But then this again just goes back to that narrative of, what are they doing behind the scenes? I've got no roadmap for the end of the year, so I don't know what... We're getting FIFA. I've got my plans for Far Cry. What are you playing back end of the year?
I don't know. This is why I think I was saying before, because there's nothing really jumping out at me. This is why I'm getting more and more interested in actually playing Far Cry, which is Far Cry typically is a series I've kind of just glossed over. But at the moment, I'm playing Life is Strange. I have started Miles Morales. I do want to go back to Control again.
Again.
Yeah. Then there's Far Cry, but I don't know. There's nothing really a company's jumping out in my mind of something I'll be playing this year.
Yeah.
So,
well, again,
I
I would have
partially.
I would have played Guardians of the Galaxy on Stadia.
Yeah.
However, not a peep. So I guess I'll be playing that on PlayStation 5 as well.
I mean, there's a new version of Skyrim coming to PlayStation 5. You could play
Yeah,
that again.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, so.
It's just, again, it's just one of those narratives that we don't have a roadmap. However, speaking of roadmaps, Richie, to get away from that, we've got another roadmap drop for Avengers, and I have came out and clarified Spider-Man will be coming by the end of the year on PlayStation exclusive, of course, which I think is just going to create more problems because now it's been a year detached from launch. Everyone who forgot Spider-Man was exclusive, who owns the game elsewhere, is going to be an uproar that it's an exclusive to a certain platform. But either.
Yeah, I mean,
they essentially
I think there will be
out,
a bit of an uproar, but I think it's kind of an unjustified uproar. Like,
I mean, you knew about this. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The bigger uproar, I think, is reasonable from the PlayStation fans going, finally.
Finally, yeah. I bought this game a year ago. But either way, this is one of the games that I will be playing on Stadia as the content roadmap continues. They've had the 1 year anniversary. There's loads of stuff dropped with that one. They're going to be bringing back returning events featuring Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. So some of the anomalies and the corrupted vibranium missions, they'll be going live too. They're going to bring their first ever raid battle. So for a games as a service, this is the first ever raid that's finally going live.
Yeah.
They're introducing superhero as part of that raid event. There's going to be some power cap level increases too. And then they've also reworked some systems. There's some more cosmetics coming that are inspired by the MCU and some Disney Plus shows in the future as we head into the winter season. And no doubt, come the launch of 2022, we'll hopefully hear about some more characters. I'll be very, very surprised, and I think it's a big missed opportunity, if when Guardians of the Galaxy from Square Enix launches this November, there is not a Guardians of the Galaxy character drop in the Avengers game. When you own all the assets within your same business and you have these games, what a way to get people to play Avengers after the finished Guardians, that you can take your Star-Lord character and your motley crew and play as them in Avengers.
That'd be cool. But to be honest, the biggest thing that jumps out for me is the level cap increase in the raid. That shows the where can actually bring some end-game content to the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, something, it looks like they're finally starting to work on giving people a reason to grind to the level caps on their characters more than just for the sake of I've done it.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
The raid, which is something I've been saying since the game came out. It's sorely missing.
Yeah, raids have been requested for a long, long time now, and so much so that I believe a raid was leaked almost a year ago. You watch the Kind of Funny stuff like I do. You know Fran?
I do, yeah.
On Kind of Funny. He played a raid. He unlocked it somehow at like 3 o'clock in the morning on his stream, and he got into an area that he wasn't allowed to get in, and there was a whole area that was designed, and it just still to this day has never been released to the public. So there's a whole area of a level that no one else has ever seen bar him on this stream, and probably a couple of other people who hacked it or whatever or got past. You know when they have like a doorway and you're not allowed past it, but somehow you can glitch your way through it. And yet a year later, arguably that could have been part of the raid. So either. It's good to see there's a roadmap. I'm glad they're still continuing. I really enjoyed the Black Panther stuff. It just still didn't feel as long as I wanted. Just wanted that a little bit more Wakanda action. But speaking of more content, we've got an update for you also on Super Bomberman Online. The first on Stadia title that dropped last year, this year? How long's it been now?
Last year, I think.
I think it was last year, before Christmas at least. Time's a weird thing at this moment. But it's getting a season 2, so they're bringing new bombers, new characters, new maps, renewed battle pass, and some more rewards based on Castlevania are coming up too. And they've made some changes to weapon abilities, cooldowns and stuff as well. Of course, it's still available on the Google Stadia store, so go check that out. We do enjoy Super Bomberman, even though I don't really know what I'm doing still. In the game. We'll probably play some as part of our upcoming charity stream.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that. Well, it's probably something with the new content coming. It's probably worth us jumping back into it.
Yeah, we'll look at that. We'll look into that. I like Super Bomberman. I feel like it deserves like a platform game though, rather than just be. He's just one of those little mascot characters where I feel like I like to see him. You know, like with Mario, he never sticks to the same thing. He's done 3D, he's done 2D, done kart races, party games. I feel like I'd like to see Super Bomberman
spin off a bit more.
Yeah, it's Konami, right?
I think so.
It's either Konami or Bandai Namco. One of those two. I mean, it's Castlevania, so it must be Konami, right? If they've got loads of Castlevania. Oh, they've got Metal Gear Snakes in it, so it must be Konami.
Yeah, it's Konami, yeah, definitely Konami.
Wow. Where are Konami? They're not really doing anything. I know they've got the pachinko machines. There it is at the end of
They're
it.
making Bomberman.
Yeah, but they've got so much more IP. Either way, we digress. I just want to see a third-person Castlevania game, Richie. Like Dark Souls or something, but Castlevania inspired. That would be so good, or Demon Souls, or Sekiro, or whatever. And final story for the week, we have some news from our Stadia competition over at the Amazon Luna team. They've announced that they are expanding and bringing you new stuff. So a couple of interesting points, Richie, that have came out of this showcase. And we only talk about it because, again, we haven't had a chance to actually play Amazon Luna yet. It's still in beta over in the United States. I can't wait to just do a comparison because I'm just really intrigued how it plays and how the controller and everything feels, but we'll keep waiting. We'll be patient. So Amazon Luna's cloud gaming service, of course, launched in early access last October. It's doing the rounds over in the United States, but what they've announced this past week is something called Amazon Luna Couch, which is a mode that lets you accept an invite request for a multiplayer game, even if you don't subscribe to an account. So essentially, Richie, if I have Amazon Luna, I'm playing something like Overcooked 2, please bring that to Stadia. Please bring Overcooked to Stadia, Team 17. If I'm playing that, Richie, and I want to play with you, which we love doing in the past, I can just send you the link for the game, and even if you do not have Amazon Luna, you can click that link and you can jump in and play with me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds amazing. It's something that only cloud gaming really has the ability to do, because you don't need the equipment, you just need the link and a
some way of playing, like controller.
You can get in. The fact that it just negates any use for a subscription, I think it's a great move. It's a very consumer friendly move. So that was one of the stories that came out. Second to that is they're also adding another channel. It's the Amazon Luna Family channel, and it's going to have loads of games. Weirdly enough, similar to what we said Stadia could do with the Stadia Kids. Lots of games, very, very similar. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, Garfield Kart Racing, DreamWorks Dragons Dawn of the New Riders, Transformers Battlegrounds, which is rated for Stadia, and a bunch of other titles are coming to this Amazon Family channel for $2.99, which is incredibly generous.
Absolute bargain.
Oh, absolutely. If you've got a family with kids, and again, it just kind of fuels our SideQuest episode. Go back and watch it if you've not seen it already. Do Stadia need to take all these younger focused games and do a separate subscription or something within that? But then that's where the model's different, isn't it? On Stadia, you could just buy the games for your kids and they can play them for as long as they want without the need of subscription model. But at $2.99, that's like £1.80.
If you're a parent and you got some young children interested in video games, paying £2.99 and just going, you can play any of these games, whenever you want. $2.99, you got easy, easy pay that.
So
just ignore it. It's just that's money that you're not even gonna. It's so unless you're really
inconsequential,
really
isn't it?
It's largely inconsequential for how many hours of video gaming that the kids are going to have, how much fun they're going to have.
Yeah. And then the kid can use Garfield Furious Car Races to share the link with a friend who doesn't have Luna, and for $2.99, their friends are playing as well.
It also comes with the added bonus of that security that they're only playing games appropriate for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not going to be playing something like Call of Duty with children screaming at them. Whatever. Yeah.
They'll find a way, I'm sure, if they really want to. But we don't obviously spend too long because this is a Stadia podcast. However, we do always like to put a lens on the competition and see what they're doing. And they've been quiet for some time now, Luna. I don't know whether it's because we're not in a country that has access to it. But
it is also still early access. It's not formally launched.
that little caveat is on there too. They did also point out that the Ubisoft Plus price is going up to $17.99, just like it does for us. But if you lock yourself in now, you get $14.99 price point for life, which I think it's $12.99 over here in the UK, Richie, for life. But you do have to remain subscribed to the service for the foreseeable to retain that discount. And that brings us to an end almost. But I do want to just mention one quick final story. Did you see in the news Take-Two, Richie, hunting down ports of Grand Theft Auto?
No, I didn't.
So I did pick this up, and I just wanted to add this in because I think it goes back to an episode we covered a few weeks ago about those GTA remasters. So there's a bunch of legal battles where Take-Two Interactive, of course, are the umbrella company for Rockstar and 2K Publishing and such, is they're basically on the hunt for anyone who's making Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, San Andreas ports of games, whether they're modders or they're reverse engineering source code. They're essentially taking them to court and saying you're not allowed them. And I just wanted to highlight it because the remastered rumour, I think this adds a bit more flame to the fire that they're going after these so much because they want to clear the marketplace or like the whatever download marketplace of any existence of versions of these games, because if they're about to put a remaster out, it's better for their business if there's no one putting out better, like essentially like remastered versions, because like modders can do terrific work with GTA games. I've seen Iron Man in Grand Theft Auto 4 and the Hulk smashing up GTA 5 and stuff. So
what we're talking about here is it's different than modding a game. Modding a game, you take a game that already exists and you add your own content to the game.
Yeah.
Or you tweak something, maybe change the UI or whatever. I used to use a lot of mods when I used to play World of Warcraft, for example. Skyrim's got another like vibrant modding community where what they're basically tackling here is people who are basically from ground up recreating Grand Theft Auto games, not using any of the original source code assets. So they're just going, it's very like saying, if I decided I'm going to make Grand Theft Auto Vice City again, and just start working on the code and the assets and stuff. Completely
agree. But do you think this adds fuel to the fire though? That because they're going after them so much harsher than they probably have done in the last like 5+ years? Does this make you believe these remaster rumours are true? That they're trying to rid the field of any alternate versions of their game?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. Like, while I think it's technically legal, it's very close to like, are you infringing on our copyrights by basically? It's the point where parody becomes like just a rip off. That's kind of where the element we're going here, and the Grand Theft guys off at Grand Theft Auto are probably looking at it and going, it's too close to what we're doing. Get into it.
Yeah, if we're about to put millions in investment to bring like 3 Vice City and San Andreas to the masses again, and we want people to buy this, let's rid the world of any spin-off versions made by people who we're not going to get a penny for. It makes sense. So interesting stuff. And final story of the week, I just want to throw this in there because of how crazy it is. Jesse Lingard, Richie, of Manchester United football soccer fame, England international, has bought his own esports team for Rainbow Six Siege. Is it Rainbow Six Siege? Yeah, it is Rainbow Six Siege, and they're going to be in the 2nd division. And it's called J-Lings, is his esports team. I just want to throw that out there, just to let everyone know that Jesse Lingard is going to go into esports, and I think this kid's got a plan for when he retires, Richie. Yeah, he's a big gamer. I've seen him on all of like the FIFA stuff, and clearly he's a big Rainbow Six Siege fan as well. So maybe our Suicide Squad, you, me, Meg, Vet, and Nimbus will be able to take Jesse Lingard on one day.
And maybe some of his teammates, Cristiano Ronaldo or Jadon Sancho,
Yeah, all those superstars.
Well, you know what? There you go, Jesse Lingard. If you're listening to this, we challenge you.
We challenge you to a game on Stadia, certainly. You'd love to see it, but it's nice to see that he's doing other things. But I just thought it was one of those stories that it's Rainbow Six specific, and we love Rainbow Six here. Let's see. So, J-Lings. Check them out on Twitter. He's the proud owner of a new esports team. We should make an esports team, Richie, at one point. I don't know what for. Maybe Killer Queen Black.
I think we got the idea. We'll do it. We'll get all the assets and stuff together. We'll play one game and go, I can't be bothered to manage this.
Yeah, it's too much hard work.
Yeah.
But I tell you what isn't hard work, ladies and gentlemen. Clicking like and subscribe down there on the video below if you haven't done so already. Thank you very, very much for tuning in to episode 103 of the Sounds of Stadia podcast, where myself, Richie, and Tom round up all the gaming and Stadia news for your listening and viewing pleasure. Don't forget, if you would like to show us a little bit more support, you can click join below. From as little as 99 pence, you get exclusive badges, stickers next to your name, fancy chances in the chat, and more importantly, 6 days early access to our SideQuest episode, where this week, Richie, we're going to go away and talk about...
I'm just making a decision now because we've got a couple of topics lined up for the next few weeks and trying to figure out which one I want.
Should we keep it a secret then?
Yeah, we're going to keep it a secret. Yeah, you're going to have to become a member to find out.
Oh, yeah. If you're listening to this now and thinking, they always tell us though, they always tease us with it. We're not even going to tease you this week. You're going to have to go and, from his 99p, click join, get your fancy little controller next to your name in the chat. But more importantly, you get access to the episode actually, it went live yesterday, so you could have already listened to it if you remember. Like 50 other people have done so. Like Louise, who wrote in with his question to the show. Don't forget to also check out our Discord channel and our Twitter accounts. You can find me at CyberChris2077. You can find Richie at
RichieC89.
You've all been wonderful. This has been episode 103. Don't forget to go donate to our Just Giving page, justgiving.com/Helix Cloud Games. If you'd like to raise some more money for the Alzheimer Society, which we'll be doing on the 2nd of October, this upcoming Saturday. This upcoming Saturday, scratch that. 2nd of October, that's the date. We've got giveaway codes for some exciting titles. We've got physical Google equipment to give away. We're going to be playing games all day with you, the lovely Stadia community. Well into the early hours of the morning, no doubt. Keep it locked. Enjoy your days, enjoy your weeks. We'll see you all soon. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
We've been Sounds of Stadia Podcast. Take care. Have a great week, everyone. Goodbye.